You have service staff energy, so you'll ruin the vibe in the photos. That was the text my sister Barbie sent to cut me from her guest list. She didn't want me there as family, she wanted me there as the unpaid kitchen manager. I was ordered to wear black, stay invisible and handle the vendors. Her offer for payment? A trash bag of her old designer clothes. I didn't scream. I just checked the GPS tracker for the catering trucks and looked at the forecast for Napa Valley. 95 degrees. Before I tell you how I turned her dream aesthetic into a nightmare, drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. I sat in my car, the engine humming a low, steady rhythm that vibrated against my chest. I didn't drive away. I didn't go back inside. I just sat there staring at my banking app. The screen was bright in the dim light of the parking garage, displaying a number that used to make me proud but now just made me sick. 0. Specifically, 0.00 in my high-yield savings account. My name is Angelica. I'm 29 years old and I solve logistical nightmares for a living. I manage supply chains for a global shipping firm. My job is to move shipping containers across oceans, navigate customs and predict problems before they happen. I deal with reality, hard numbers and binding contracts. But apparently when it came to my family I was blind. 2 months ago that savings account had $28,000 in it. It was my freedom fund. It was the down payment for a quiet condo with thick walls where I wouldn't have to listen to my mother, Carol Lee, criticize my life choices. Then came the phone call. I remember the panic in my mother's voice. It wasn't just fear, it was theatrics. She was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. Barbie's credit cards had been declined. All of them. The villa in Napa, the dream venue she had been posting about for 6 months, was threatening to release their date if the deposit and the catering down payment weren't wired immediately. We're going to lose everything, Mom had wailed. Imagine the humiliation, Angelica. Barbie is hyperventilating. You have to help us. Family helps family. I had hesitated. That money took me 5 years to save. But then Barbie got on the phone. She wasn't the cruel, aesthetic-obsessed influencer then. She was small, tearful and desperate. She promised me, swore on her life, that as soon as the brand deals for the wedding coverage came through, contracts she claimed were already signed, she would pay me back in full. 45 days, she said. I looked at the wire transfer receipt saved in my digital archive. Sent, $28,000. Recipient, Napa Valley Estate Holdings. Memo, venue deposit. I had saved them. I had literally bought the roof they were going to party under. And what was my return on investment? I looked back at the text message glowing on my notifications. Service staff energy. The rage that hit me wasn't hot or explosive. It was cold. It settled in my stomach like a stone. I realized then that I wasn't a sister to them. I wasn't a daughter. I was a line of credit. I was an ATM that they could insult because they thought I was too desperate for connection to unplug myself. They thought I was weak. They thought I would put on a black turtleneck, stand in the kitchen and serve canapes to people who looked down on me, just hoping for a smile or a thank you. But they forgot what I do for a living. I don't operate on hope. I operate on leverage. I tapped the screen, closing my banking app and opening a different one. The Smart Home Administration panel. 2 months ago, Barbie had thrown her phone at me because setting up the security codes for the rental was too techy and boring. He made me do it. He made me the super admin. I stared at the dashboard. I saw the temperature sensors, the gate controls, the electronic locks. I saw the power. They wanted a manager? Fine. I would manage them. I put the car in gear and pulled out of the garage. I wasn't going to cry about being excluded. I was going to collect my debt. The week of the wedding, I drove up to the villa in Napa. The estate was breathtaking, acres of rolling vineyards, a massive infinity pool reflecting the California sun, and a main house that looked like it had been airlifted from Tuscany. It was the kind of place designed to make you feel important just by standing there. But as soon as I stepped out of my car, I was reminded of my place. My mother, Carol Lee, didn't come over to hug me. She didn't ask how the drive was. She marched across the gravel driveway, a clipboard in one hand and a heavy, industrial-looking headset in the other. She shoved the headset into my chest. You're late, she snapped, checking her watch. The florists are arguing with the lighting guys. I need you to handle it. And Angelica, please tell me you brought the black turtleneck. I can see your tattoo from here. We can't have that in the background. I took the headset. It was heavy, greasy from whoever had worn it last. Hello to you too, Mom, I said, my voice flat. She didn't even hear me. She was already pointing toward the service entrance. Load in through the back. Don't block the main doors. The photographer is getting establishing shots. I walked toward the house, the gravel crunching under my sensible black boots. Barbie was standing on the terrace, directing a team of workers who were hanging wisteria from the pergola. She looked radiant, I'll give her that. glowing with the kind of confidence that only comes when you believe the world revolves around you. When she saw me, she didn't wave. She laughed. "Oh my God," she called out, her voice carrying over the lawn. "Look at you. You look like Steve Jobs rejected a merger. Very professional, I guess. Just try to stay behind the pillars during the ceremony, okay? We want an ethereal vibe, not a corporate IT vibe." I stopped. I looked at her. My sister, the girl whose credit card debt I had cleared, whose venue deposit I had paid. She was treating me like a smudge on a lens. A stain to be photoshopped out. I nodded slowly. Understood. Behind the pillars. I put on the headset. I walked past the florists arranging $10,000 worth of imported peonies. I walked past the caterers prepping the caviar station. I went straight to the main hallway, but I wasn't there to check the table settings. I found the main smart home control panel hidden behind a decorative tapestry near the kitchen. This is the mistake people like Barbie always make. They obsess over the interface. The aesthetics, the colors, the lighting, the things that look good on Instagram. They forget about the infrastructure. They don't think about the wires running through the walls, the servers humming in the basement, or the digital locks that secure the doors. They think power is attention. I know power is control. I tapped the screen. The system recognized me immediately. "Welcome, admin." I checked the status of every connected device. The massive iron gates at the perimeter. The magnetic locks on the front and back doors. The HVAC system keeping the house a cool 68 degrees while the outside temperature climbed. Everything was online. Everything was under my command. Carolie's voice crackled in my earpiece. "Angelica, where are you? The ice sculpture is melting. Fix it." "On it," I said. I wasn't fixing anything. I was just waiting for the temperature to rise. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the temperature in Napa Valley hit 95 degrees. It was a dry, aggressive heat, the kind that bakes the dust on the road and makes the air shimmer. I watched the convoy on my GPS tracker. It was a parade of excess. 3 stretch limousines carrying the bridal party, followed by 2 massive refrigerated trucks holding $5,000 worth of seafood and the custom ice sculptures. They were winding up the private access road, kicking up clouds of dust, heading toward the main gates. They were on schedule. They were excited. And they were about to hit a wall. I wasn't in the kitchen. I wasn't wearing the black turtleneck or the headset my mother had shoved into my chest. I was parked exactly 1 mile away, sitting in my modest sedan with the engine running and the air conditioning blasting a crisp 68 degrees. I took a sip of my iced coffee and unlocked my phone. This is the part where people usually expect some kind of high-tech wizardry. They think I had to write code or bypass a firewall. But that's the thing about being the person who handles the logistics. You don't need to break in when you have the keys. Barbie had forced me to set up the account because she didn't want to read the user agreement. She put the lease in my name because her credit was shot. He made me the owner. I opened the Smart Home Administration app. The interface was clean, intuitive, and powerful. I saw the green icons indicating that the estate was currently in welcome mode. The gates were open. The front doors were unlocked. The AC was humming. It was welcoming them home. I navigated to the Settings tab, then to Security Protocols. I scrolled down to the bottom past the Vacation Mode and Night Mode until I found what I was looking for. It was labeled simply, Clause 4.2. In the rental contract I had signed, Clause 4.2 is the non-payment or breach of contract protocol. It is designed for property owners to remotely secure their asset if a renter refuses to pay or violates the terms. It creates a complete digital and physical lockout. I looked at the time. 1:10 p.m. The lead limo was rounding the final bend toward the perimeter gate. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel like a bad sister. I felt like a collections agent. They wanted me to be staff? Fine. I was enforcing the house rules. I tapped the button labeled Execute Lockdown. A loading circle spun for a second and then the screen flashed red. Command sent. Perimeter gates. Closed and deadlocked. Main villa entry. Maglocks engaged. Service entrances. Secured. HVAC system. System off. I watched the data stream in. On the map, the little dots representing the convoy came to a sudden jarring halt at the edge of the property. I imagined the scene. The heavy iron gates swinging shut with a metallic clang right in front of the driver's bumper. The confusion. The catering trucks slamming on their brakes behind them. The drivers honking thinking it was a sensor glitch. And inside the house, the silence. The gentle hum of the industrial air conditioning units cutting out. The airflow stopping. The stillness. The villa is essentially a glass box in a vineyard. Without the AC running, it turns into a greenhouse within minutes. The heat would start to creep in through the windows immediately. The caviar would begin to sweat. The vintage wines would start to warm. And the ice sculptures, Barbie's precious overpriced swans, would begin to weep. My phone buzzed. It was a notification from the security system. Motion detected at main gate. Then another. Intercom request. I ignored them. I leaned back in my seat adjusting my vents. The panic had officially begun. My phone screen lit up with Barbie's name. I let it ring twice, watching the catering manager on my GPS feed pace back and forth by the locked gate. He was waving his arms. He was likely calculating the cost of the spoiled lobster in the back of his truck. I answered on the third ring. I put it on speaker and set the phone on the dashboard. Oh, Barbie. What is happening? Her voice was a shriek, distorted by panic and poor signal. The gates are shut. The power is out. The caterer says he's leaving. Fix it, Angelica. You're the admin. I took a sip of my coffee. I know. Then open it. I can't, I said calmly. The system is in lockdown mode. It's an automated protocol for non-payment. It seems the venue deposit, the one I paid, has been flagged as a delinquent loan. What are you talking about? You paid it. I did, I agreed. And you promised to pay me back in 45 days. But I've decided to call in the loan early. Breach of contract. Clause 4.2. There was a stunned silence on the other end, followed by the sound of Carolee screaming in the background about the flowers wilting. You're doing this? Barbie whispered, the realization finally hitting her. You're ruining my wedding because I didn't invite you? I'm not ruining anything, I said. I'm just balancing the books. You treated me like a line item, Barbie. Now I'm acting like one. I checked the time. It's 96 degrees out there. The internal temperature of the catering truck is rising. You have about 15 minutes before the health department mandates that seafood be thrown away. I don't want your trash bag of old clothes. I want my $28,000. Right now. I don't have it. He screamed. You know I don't have it until the brand deal's clear. Then you better find it. I hung up. I watched the dots on the map. I could imagine the scene inside the limo. The sweat beading on Barbie's forehead, ruining her professional makeup. The panic setting in as the air conditioning died and the smell of hot asphalt and diesel fumes started to seep into the car. 5 minutes passed. My phone buzzed. It was a notification from my bank. Transfer failed. He had tried. She had probably maxed out every credit card she owned, drained her checking account, maybe even sent herself money from Trevor's account. But $28,000 is a lot of money when you live your life on credit and influence. The phone rang again. He was crying now. Panicked. Angelica, please. The ice sculptures are melting. Mom's hyperventilating. I can't get the money. Then ask someone who has it. I can't ask Trevor, she whispered. He thinks I paid for all this. He thinks I'm successful. That sounds like a branding issue. 10 minutes. I didn't help. I just waited. Through the open line, I heard gravel crunch and the limo door open. Barbie murmured to someone. A banking error. The venue needs a wire. No. Then a deeper voice, Trevor's father. A banking error? On the wedding day. Give me the phone. He came on sharp and suspicious. Who is this? What account? This is venue management. I lied smoothly. Security hold. We need an immediate RTP transfer of $28,000. I'm texting the routing number. I sent it. Waited. He muttered while tapping on his phone, then spoke to Barbie, disgusted. You said this was handled. Start your marriage with a lie and see how it ends. My app chimed. Incoming RTP transfer. $28,000. Cleared. Payment received. Then I added, type this memo exactly. Repayment of loan for venue. No refunds. Why? Just open the gate. Because tomorrow you'll call the bank and scream fraud. Type it or the gate stays shut. She cursed, but the confirmation appeared. I unlocked the perimeter gate only. On my feed, iron gates swung wide. Catering trucks rushed in. Limos followed. She texted, I win. You're nothing. I'll ruin you. She thought the gate was the victory. She forgot about the front door. The Villa Maglocks had a 5-minute reboot delay. Standard protocol. I watched a guest's live stream as Barbie stormed up the steps and yanked the handle. Blocked. Open it. She shrieked at the camera. Angelica. She couldn't wait. In risk management we call it the hubris trigger. When arrogance finishes what technology starts. I saw this on TikTok, she yelled, grabbing a creme brulee torch. Fire sensors unlock doors. Trevor grabbed her arm. Stop. Just wait. She shoved him. You're useless. He backed away and didn't follow. That told me everything. She torched the heat sensor. The alarm screamed. The maglocks clicked open. She smiled and stepped inside. Then the deluge system detonated. 5-year-old stagnant water blasted from the ceiling, black, oily, rotten-smelling sludge. It soaked her Vera Wang gown gray. Ruined the carpets, flowers, gifts. She froze under 500 gallons of filth. Trevor stood dry 10 feet away watching. I closed the app. The live stream froze on my sister, dripping black water. Guests fled. Trevor walked off without looking back. Mom called. You monster. We'll sue you. Check the logs, I said calmly. I unlocked the gate. 5 minutes later, Barbie applied open flame to a heat sensor. That triggered the deluge. She was trying to get inside. She committed arson on a historic property. Insurance will love that live stream. She's your sister. No, I'm just the help. And my shift is over. I blocked them all and drove out of Napa. The next morning, I used the 28 grand to close on a condo. Thick walls, my own security system, quiet. Peace. Would you have opened the gate, or let the food rot? Tell me in the comments.